What's up, everyone? The house is on a cliff's edge when it comes to deciding if the veto is going to be used. Plus, Rylie is back to his old antics. We've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your live feed update. Right before we get started, folks, if you are new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm here every single day breaking down everything Big Brother related so that you can stay on top of it all and be a Big Brother expert. So if you want to impress your friends and family with knowledge of everything that's going on in the Big Brother 27 house, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm also going to ask you all to hit the like button. That one takes all of 0.2 seconds, folks. It's that little thumbs up down there. And as a smaller content creator, it helps me more than you even know. You guys have been doing amazing this season helping out with the like button. So keep up the good work, folks. And one more thing, I do put a lot of effort into these videos. So if you feel like buying me a coffee, please consider leaving a super thanks or hitting up my PayPal link in the description. But without further ado, let's get to the update.
Question of the day now, folks.
That damn accent. Come on.
So today's question of the day is, who is your favorite runner-up? I'll start. My favorite is Danielle Reyes, of course. She was my favorite player, one of my favorite players of all time. I think she should have won. So who's your favorite runner-up?
Thanks so much to Sam for the question of the day there, folks. I 100% agree with Sam's answer. Actually, that's why I married Sam, because Danielle Reyes is their favourite player. That's it, Sam. The truth comes out. That's actually why I married you.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good reason to marry someone, though.
True.
It is. All right, folks. Let's get to today's update. We've got a lot of veto chaos today. A lot. Plus, Rylie, of course, doing his usual thing. Yesterday's video was an intense one, to say the least, talking about the petition that's being started, talking about the fact that Kat's family has actively reached out to production over concerns of their daughter being around Rylie. It's pretty intense, and a lot of the comments, are people who've been in similar situations themselves and have seen. It's bringing up all feels for them, So it was an intense video yesterday. I'm happy to say it's less intense today. There's obviously still some Rylie antics going on, but way less intense than yesterday. But Kat actively went out of her way yesterday to deny being Rylie's girlfriend. That's got to count for something, right, folks? I don't see this relationship lasting. As soon as the game's over, Rylie's going to get a massive rude awakening, like massive, and Kat's going to want to distance herself, I think. But it's also one of those situations where the Rylies of life operate in a way where they make you not want to leave them, and that could happen. That could really happen for sure. I didn't really like seeing people say it's Kat's fault. It's weird blaming it on Kat, saying, Kat has a mind of her own, and she does have a mind of her own, but there's a little something that goes on in Big Brother called manipulation, and that can go on a social, personal level sometimes, and I think that's exactly what's at play. You could have said the same thing in season 2 when everybody was following Dr. Will. They've all got a mind of their own. Yes, they do, but Dr. Will's manipulating them. And it's the same thing here, but Rylie's doing it on like a personal level, a relationship level, rather than the game, So it's easy for people to come on here and say, "Oh, Kat's got a mind of her own." Yeah, everyone does, but minds are malleable. They can be switched around. Their minds can be changed if someone can get up in their way with manipulative. Gaslighting ways, and that's exactly how Rylie operates. But she actively went out of her way yesterday to say I am not his girlfriend. Maybe this is the start of Kat seeing something, but yeah, definitely something to note there. She said she is not his girlfriend. Now, with Lauren holding the power of veto this week, it really is all to play for. We know from Lauren's head of household reign that she is one of the most malleable and easy to manipulate players in the past few years. Honestly, when I talk to people, face to face when we're having conversations about Big Brother and we talk about Lauren, there's always two things that I bring up. I always say it's very impressive how she managed to go from head of household and then she just seamlessly went back into the house like nobody even saw her. But at the same time, she didn't make a splash, and she's not really showing any signs of making a splash. She's very easy to manipulate, and she doesn't want to make a decision. She is I think on a personal level, her favourite thing is avoidance. I know that it's a favourite thing, but, she operates with avoidance and doesn't tackle big issues. So as a result, it's easy to manipulate her. It's the last person to talk. I was talking to my sister-in-law yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that, with Lauren, it's the last person to talk to her that is going to be the person who makes the decision. That's sadly the case with Lauren, and we're hoping she kicks into gear, because we've also had discussions about the fact that she respects Janelle, she respects Rachel, these big personality players, which is crazy because Lauren is kind of the opposite of that. She doesn't really have a big personality, but we're hoping that maybe it's going to be, she gets halfway, which we're getting to that hump now where we're going to the halfway stage, and can she kick it into gear? That's really the question. But I think at the end of the day, what we both discussed was the fact that what's going to happen is the last person to talk to Lauren is going to be the person who gets Lauren to do what they want to do. And I think that's the case with this power of veto as well, because there has been so much pressure from different sides of the house, and more than any other veto this season so far. And why is that? It's because people know they can manipulate Lauren. It's because they know they can sway her in certain directions. But yeah, I've got all my notes down here of people pulling her in different directions. And, I am almost certain that if the veto is going to be used, it will be used on Vince. My verdict is it's going to be used on Vince or nobody. That's the best way of putting it. But Kat's been pushing Lauren not to use it. I think she's aware that Rylie could go up if that could happen, if the veto was used. Rachel was pushing her not to use it. She obviously wants her nominations to stay intact. And then Ashley, who of course is supposed to be Rachel's bestie and Rachel's ally, is pushing her to use it. But Rachel's aware of this. She 100% knows that Ashley's trying to work all sides. She knows that Ashley's fake, and she knows that she's trying to get in good with Mickey. We'll see how that works out for Ashley, because she's going to be cannon fodder if she does that. Once again, for the third day in a row, I want Ashley to play for Ashley, not for Mickey and not for Rachel. I want to see Ashley play for her, but I think she is just... Ashley strikes me as somebody who was probably a mean girl in school, and Mickey is the mean girl of mean girls, so as a result... I understand why Ashley is flocking to her, because I think Ashley's a more submissive personality type than Mickey. Just to do a psychological deep dive here for a second though, folks, and those submissive mean girls flock to the more dominant mean girls. We've all been in school, we've all seen it happen with our real eyes, and that seems to be the case, I think, with those two there. But I want Ashley to play for her, because again, another conversation I had with my sister-in-law was the fact that Ashley has great reads on this game. She really does. Like she could do so well if she applied herself to these reads, because she'll be sitting there just casually around the house, then all of a sudden she'll just be like, these two people are running the game, or these two people are working together, and she's the only person in there who's managed to clock it, and you kind of go, whoa, okay, Ashley, like it's like she's watching the live feeds or something, and I get so impressed. But I just want to see that practicality of her putting her actual game into use alongside those reads, because if she does, she could be a power player, but I'm yet to see it yet. But yeah, lots of pressure from all sides of the house saying, Lauren, do it, Lauren, don't, Lauren, do it, Lauren, don't. There was even, oh my word, there was a hilarious moment we got to bring up. So Vinny and Morgan in the storage room with Lauren, and they're clearly, trying to pressure her into using the veto, but of course you would, you're on the block, good for them. And then Rachel Rylie busts into the storage room. Door swings open, and it's like the rabbit's in the headlight when Rachel walks in. And then, what you doing? Oh, we're just running through all the scenarios for the veto, as Lauren would do, obviously, because she can't make her mind up. No, I'm kidding. That's just a little bit of shade there. But then Lauren disappears. She goes off and she goes back to do her thing. And then as soon as the door shuts behind, it was almost cinematic. The door shuts behind Rachel, and she's, looking like this at them, at Vinny and Morgan. She goes, real classy. And then she just turns around and walks out. Oh, one of these days, Rachel Riley's going to understand what a social game is. But Vinny and Morgan were just like, but they get so apologetic later on. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry, Rachel. Because I feel like they actually are fearful of her because she has the power this week. But I understand Vinny and Morgan. There's one of those things where they're on the block. Of course they're going to try and persuade Lauren to use veto. But I think Rachel walked in and perceived this situation as two people cornering Lauren, because Rachel knows how like easy manipulated Lauren is. You know, it's very easy to do it. And I think that's why she thought two people in the storage room, you know, looming over her came across like that. But you know, Rachel's probably going to do the exact same thing when she gets a chance. She'll probably just do it more politely and more expertly, because she's a pro at the game. You know, she's a seasoned player. But you know, I'm kind of with Vinny and Morgan on this one. You know, if you're on the block, of course you're going to try and persuade someone to get off. But it didn't stop it from being a classic, entertaining Rachel Rylie moment. I want to talk about last night's episode for a second. I had a lot of thoughts on it. The HOH competition I adore. I'm a huge Scream fan. If y'all have been watching me for years, you'll know that in my previous setup I had the Scream posters on my wall. Love those movies. So that kind of nod to 90s slasher movies, you know, Ghostface, like, what's your favorite scary movie? You know, like, I love that stuff. I love it so much. And I just want to commend the Big Brother production team for that one. Mickey said a few things in the episode that I wanted to go over. She is such a hypocrite. She is such a hypocrite. The way she stands on business and is shunning Rachel. And she said, I like people who are direct and don't beat around the bush and speak to your face. Mickey spends 90% of the time in that house talking crap about people behind their back. She is the definition of holier than thou. And I mean that. I say that with my chest, with Rhea Ripley on my chest. She is just so full of crap. Like, she talks such a big game and makes out as if she's this good, caring, kind, compassionate person when she never has anything nice to say about anyone. I haven't heard her say anything compassionate about anyone. Any opportunity she gets to talk crap about someone, she does it. She does it every single time. And it's so funny because she doesn't even have any entertainment levels either. You know, as people go, oh, she's a villain, she's a villain. Nah, there's a difference between a villain and a mean girl. And I think some people are struggling to differentiate the two. Because a villain will say something to your face to create entertainment and big blow-ups in the house. Mickey, nah. She acts like she's got that confidence, but she doesn't. She talks about people behind their back, and I really truly feel she feels threatened by Rachel, because Rachel is somebody who will say something to your face. But her trying to stand on business, saying that she likes people who are direct and speak to your face and don't beat around the bush. Maybe practice what you preach, Mickey, before you say that. Because honestly, I came away from that, and I think a lot of people came away from that just thinking, what a massive hypocrite. Now, while Rylie is continuing with his coercive behaviour towards Catherine, it is very uncomfortable to watch. I feel like she's pushing back more, but it's very awful to watch, because we all know what happens when you push back against someone like Rylie. They get more controlling, they get more coercive, and, you know, he'll say, stop yelling at me, even though she's whispering the entire time. What a secure man. I'm sure he is a very, very loving soul who would care about his partner should they come to him with a problem. I just think it's disgraceful. I really do. Like, I'm just stood here right now as somebody who, you know, I'm a husband now, and I take that very seriously. And you're supposed to care about the person you love so much, and you do naturally. Rylie, it doesn't seem like it comes natural. It feels like it comes contractually. You know, sign on the dotted line. I don't like it at all. He makes me uncomfortable. I think he is kind of a disgrace of somebody who wants to be in a relationship, and Kat deserves so much better. But yeah, it feels like, unfortunately, normal now while watching this coercive behaviour with Kat. And while he wasn't honing in on Kat too much yesterday, he honed in on Ashley. And it's scary. This guy, you know, the F word comes out of his mouth every other word, and it's not just in a way where it's like, I mean, I don't mind a curse. I mean, y'all should see me when I'm not on camera. I love cursing, but yeah, it's different when it's in a playful way versus when it's in like he sounds angry. He really does sound angry all the time, and he's saying, I can't effing stand her, you know, and all that kind of stuff. It's ugh. And then he goes off on another tangent saying, I can't effing stand him, I can't effing stand her. Who the F does she think she, like, it's just. But yeah, he was really going to town on Ashley yesterday, but he wasn't actually saying it to Ashley. Of course he wasn't. He was venting to Kat. Kat was trying to calm him down. Again, it's like what I said in those early days. It doesn't seem like Kat is his girlfriend or his partner. It seems like Kat is his mother trying to calm him down because he's like a child throwing a tantrum. And when he doesn't get what he wants, he lashes out at Kat. It's clear as day. I've had this clocked since the beginning at the dynamic between the two of them. It's just gotten worse than I imagined. And yeah, if Rylie really had all of the confidence and true, I guess, I think he portrays himself as a man, whatever you want to call that. You know, that takes many shapes and forms in this day and age, as it should. You know, there shouldn't be just one mold for it. But I feel like Rylie wants to stick to that, what he thinks is the traditional man, you know, where, you know, But I feel like, again, a lot of us can look at this and say that's very outdated. It's very antiquated. It's, you know, it's not... It doesn't fly in this day and age. You know, talking to women like that, it shouldn't have flown back in the day. But at least now people speak out against it more, and that's at least that's some progress, you know. And with Rylie, he continues to stick to those old antiquated ways, and it's making it very uncomfortable for a lot of people to watch. And he's going to have a rude awakening when he steps outside this house, because I think all of us can see him for what he is, and quite frankly, he's a fraud. Now, another thought from the episode, watching Rachel win HOH. I'm a fan of Rachel. I like her a lot, but I will always commend anybody who does good gameplay, just like I did with Vinny and Morgan there, you know. I know a lot of people would have jumped on that bandwagon and went, no, Rachel was right. Nah, she wasn't. She wasn't. Of course, Vinny and Morgan should work that veto angle. But she made those nominations yesterday, and I put a tweet out just to say that was the best set of nominations since Jessica's in 21. And I will preface this. It's so sad that the standard to say bravo for a set of nominations is doing what is best for your own game. Like, that should be a thing every single week, you know? It should be standard. Oh my god, you won HOH and you did something for your own game with it? Oh my word, like, oh... Like, it infuriates me that we're at that level. But it does make the treat a little bit sweeter when we do get a HOH that does something for their own game, you know? For their own game. That's, again, very, very sad that it has came to that point. But Rachel made a move and put 3 people on the block who were going to target her. 3 people who were in a power position. She didn't care about what the house wants. Sorry, I didn't check in with the house today. Should we do that? But yeah, she did what was best for her game. And what a wonderful world of Big Brother it would be if people did that every single week. But again, I feel like I'm part of a younger generation, you know, and I do think avoidance is something I can say that confidently. You know, I'm not going to deny that outwardly and be like, no, we're not like that. Like, I think as the generations go on more, It's a line, and this isn't me crapping on all the generations, but every generation has flaws. I find that older generations tend to be a little bit more stubborn, whereas younger generations, I feel like sometimes don't really have as much of a backbone. And you know, and that's not to say everybody, but there are trends within each generation that goes on, and you know that's why older house guests tend to be stuck in their ways about what they're going to do, whereas younger house guests avoid doing the problem until the last second. It's testament to what I just said there. And Rachel, actually, though, she did what was best for her game. And at the end of the day, that's all I want from every house guest. As a commentator, I want to see Mickey get up there and do what's best for her game, not tank her own game and then put herself on an island called Mickey. I want to see Lauren get up there and do what's best for Lauren's game. I want to see Vince get up there and do what's best for Vince's game. But I feel like the only people who've done that this season so far are Ava and Rachel, and that's why I commend them so much. But that was a power move from Rachel. Massive congratulations to her, and all I've got to say is bravo. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. I would love to hear from you. Mail opening video is coming soon, and with the address on screen right now, you folks can send me something. I'm building a postcard wall. I've got a stack of postcards about Yay High right now that I can't wait to go through on this mail opening video. You still have time to get those in, so if you want to send them through, folks, use the address on screen. I've also had some packages from people, and I can't wait to open them. I've seen people comment and saying, I've sent you a couple of things from my hometown, Tom, you know. So if you want to do that, folks, I would love it. Seriously, like, y'all know for years if you've been watching my channel how I'm really obsessed and fascinated by all the different things in every single state in America. You know, I love how everything's so different in Alaska compared to, I don't know, I'm just thinking of a random state, Ohio, and how different things are in Hawaii compared to Massachusetts. You know, I love that, and I want to hear from everybody's state. I want to hear from people's hometowns. So if you want to send something in, folks, package, postcard, I would love to hear from you by sending something in on the screen, and I'll be opening it up in the mail video that's coming very, very soon. So get those in, folks. For that, you've got about a week to do that. But we're going to close things out with a few super thanks. First up, we've got the wonderful Barbara Phillips. Barbara says, thanks. I say thank you, Barbara. Have an amazing day, my love. I'm sending you a big hug. Thank you, Barbara. Next up, we've got, again, the wonderful Fiver from Canada. Sending love to Canada there. Always do when I see Fiver. Fiver says, 2 thanks today. Thanks first for tackling the Kat and Rylie issue. Kat's reasons for her apparent complicity are very complex and too long to go into here. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I just wanted to break from the comment for a second and say that's so well said. It's kind of what I tried to address in this video as well as I could, because I've seen a lot of people blaming Kat, and I'm like, this is crazy. You know, Kat's just fallen victim to somebody. That's what that is. And you're right, it is very complex. You know, we could talk for an hour about that. But the only person responsible for his abusive behaviour is Rylie, and Rylie alone. Secondly, thanks to Sam, hear that, Sam, for moving the evicted folks to the bottom. It's a fantastic graphic. Thanks again. Thank you so much, Fiver. We appreciate you ever so much. Next up, we've got the wonderful Kimberly the Goat. Kimberly the Goat says, if Rylie talks to women like this on national television, just imagine how he speaks to them behind closed doors. He is so insecure. He is very insecure. I hope someone gets him out ASAP. Thank you for your insight on the subject. You are dead on in your opinion of him. I literally cried like a baby thinking of how I would feel if Kat were my child. Yeah, it's tough. You could see me yesterday in the video when I was talking about the idea of it being my kid in there. I would, if I had a kid, I was getting irate just even thinking about it. Thank you for the updates as usual. I totally understand everything you said there, Kimberly. Thank you so much, my love. I'm sending love to you and to your wonderful granddaughter. Last but not least, what a great way to finish. We've got the wonderful David Cushmore. And David Cushmore says, hi Tom, WWE Clash in Paris coming up soon in August 31st. Very excited. One of John Cena's last pit stops in Europe. Yeah, I believe I've seen word on the street that Cena's going to be finishing up in Mass. So I'm very excited about that. On eviction night, get yourself some Starbucks coffee and eat some M&Ms. Yeah, very excited for Clash in Paris. I'm repping the WWE today with Mommy. I love this woman so much. She is magnificent. And if you didn't notice, Sam was also wearing a Rhea Ripley shirt. We are big fans of Rhea Ripley in this family. So yes, we love Rhea. Can't wait for Clash in Paris. Thank you so much, David Cushmore. But that's all we've got time for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. I hope that you're all staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there. And remember to be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of that wonderful stuff. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.